Many times companies are required more than just basic network connectivity to their branches. They provide a range of additional services and network functions. Things like network address translation, firewalls, encryption, DNS, caching, and many others. Traditionally, these functions were deployed using specialized, proprietary hardware, physically located at the customer's premises. While this approach generated extra revenue for providers, it came with significant drawbacks. Deploying all these separate, proprietary devices was expensive. Upgrades were difficult and time-consuming. Every time a new function needed to be added, it required a truck roll, a technician physically going on-site to install new hardware, and it makes a customer dependent on a vendor for products, unable to use another vendor without substantial switching costs. To tackle these challenges, Cloud Native IT Solution, CNIT, started exploring a new approach, Network Function Virtualization, or NFV. NFV is all about decoupling. It separates network functions like a firewall or encryption service from that dedicated, specialized hardware. Instead, these functions are moved to virtual servers. Think of it this way. Instead of buying a bunch of expensive, unique boxes, company IT team can use standard, off-the-shelf servers, switches, and storage. On these, they run virtual machines, software that mimics the behavior of those specialized boxes. This collapses multiple functions onto a single physical server. The benefits are clear, lower costs, and far fewer truck rolls. If a customer needs a new function, the provider can simply spin up a new virtual machine remotely. In traditional network setups, hardware limitations often create challenges when scaling capacity. For example, with a physical firewall, upgrades require purchasing new hardware, managing lead times, and eventually facing end-of-support or end-of-sale issues. In NFV scale vertically, like add CPU or memory to the VNF instantly via a dashboard and scale horizontally also. VNFs are software licenses, decoupled from hardware, NFV and virtual CPE. So, NFV is the strategy, virtualizing network functions. We're moving from dedicated hardware to software running on virtual servers using common, off-the-shelf, or COTS hardware. A common term you'll hear is virtual CPE, VCP. This simply refers to any network function running on a virtual machine. Deploying network functions with NFV. Let's dig a little deeper into how NFV helps deploy these functions. Imagine a customer with a network service connecting their headquarters to a branch office. This service needs a firewall, DNS, and encryption. Before NFV, each of those would have been a separate physical appliance at each location. With NFV, the provider installs a generic server at each customer site. Then, they use standard IT virtualization platforms, like Astron from Cloud Native IT Solution, to create virtual machines for each function. A virtual firewall, a virtual DNS server, and so on. The physical CPE is replaced by virtual CPE. The server running these virtual machines is called a compute node. It has special software called a Astron that manages the virtual machines and allocates resources. In the provider's data center, there's a virtualized infrastructure manager, or Stratum Nexus from Cloud Native IT Solution, which oversees multiple compute nodes. The provider also needs software to manage each individual network function. Distributed NFV. In the real world, companies have multiple data centers serving hundreds, even thousands of customers. With NFV, a new function can be deployed anywhere in the network, at the branch office's edge, at the nearest data center, or in a centralized facility. Some functions, like firewalls and encryption, work best right at the branch office's premises. Others, like DNS, are perfectly suited for a data center. This flexibility is called distributed NFV. It means NFV functions can be placed in multiple locations across the company's network, a mix of data centers and branch or remote office sites. Service orchestration with Stratum Nexus. Moving to NFV and virtual CPE significantly reduces costs, but it introduces a new layer of complexity. Setting up a service for a subscriber now means coordinating resources across many different platforms, often from various vendors. This is where orchestration comes in. Orchestration allows service providers to create repeatable workflows. These workflows coordinate and automate the creation, management, and synchronization of all the resources needed for a service. Think of it like a conductor leading an orchestra. The service provider defines the service, the musical score. Then, Stratum Nexus acts as the conductor, implementing that service over and over for different subscribers. Stratum Nexus uses an open architecture. This allows it to manage hundreds of millions of physical and virtual resources, no matter what type they are. Using element adapters and APIs, Stratum Nexus automates, simplifies, and dramatically speeds up the process of creating and deploying new services. To learn more about how we can help you achieve your network modernization goals with NFV, contact Cloud Native IT Solutions. We're proud to be the region's sole NFV implementer with a proven track record of success. Our experience includes completing 2 large-scale NFV projects, and we were also the first to implement an NFVI project in an enterprise network in the entire MENA region. We are your partners for a successful NFV journey.